The Kansas City Chiefs have lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, and guys, I'm not mad about it. It doesn't make me mad because I have some context that I want to put on this. And you know me. I try to leave myself out of things. I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to talk about the stats, the numbers, the games. Normally, that's where I'm at. This video will be very little statistician, very little esthetician, very little statistician from the scrambling armchair, because I think that context matters here more than anything, because very little of what the Kansas City Chiefs did in that game made strategic sense. That was a game for the locker room. And I'm going to tell you a personal story from this past weekend that I think summarizes what the Chiefs are going through right now and why that loss does not matter. Here's the thing. Was the Chargers' loss a big deal? Kind of, yeah. But when you were looking at this schedule after it came out and you were just lining up wins and losses like you do, probably you circled the Eagles and said, that's a losable game. That might be a loss. Before you knew about Rashee Rice, before you knew about Xavier Worthy, before you knew about, that was one of those games that maybe that's a loss. The Chiefs aren't in that place, and that's where a lot of this comes from. See, I just turned 40. No, this isn't an ad read. I know that all of those ad reads on YouTube start this way. I just turned 40, and guys, I'm not taking it very well. I'm feeling down on myself, okay? Much like I imagine you would feel after losing the Super Bowl, right? Okay, one-for-one translation there. So, I'm at the grocery store, and I'm doing my weekend shopping for groceries. And for whatever reason, the card doesn't swipe. I gotta swipe it, I gotta stick it in the machine, then swipe it again. I gotta do all sorts of stuff because it just doesn't work, for whatever reason. So I'm getting a little agitated. And the guy next to me is getting worked up too, and I'm figuring, it's the same thing. These machines, it's his card. Commerce Bank doesn't issue cards like they used to. Mine's basically printed on paper, whatever. But as I'm leaving, I start to pick up little bits of the conversation that man is having with what must be a 130-year-old woman who weighs approximately 38 pounds. I'm picking up that conversation. What he's doing is he's yelling at her because she has to scan his physical ID. And I'm on the way to my truck. And I can't stand people yelling at people at work. Can't stand it. If you're rude to the waitress, I do not like you. If all those sorts of situations drive me up a wall. So I'm on the way to my truck, telling myself, a former you would have said something. You're 40 now. A former you would have bucked up to him. A former you would have dressed him down. A former you would have been able to stand up in that line and said, hey, pal, calm down. Huh? Is your Sam Adams that important? Your Sam Adams is that important? But I didn't do it. And I'm beating myself up all the way to the truck, all the way to the truck. I am frothing at this point. Okay? The same way I imagine that the Kansas City Chiefs were frothing all off season, being told the dynasty's over. See, I told myself that a former me would have done that. The Chiefs heard all off season, a former you could have won that Super Bowl. So I'm loading the groceries in the truck. And I see that hapless jerk come out of the store, right? Oh, don't do it, right? Don't do this. Don't do this. This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea, just like it's a bad idea to play cover zero. Just like it's a bad idea to blitz all day long. But I got to. I drive behind him while he's loading his car. Don't do this. This is terrible. This is a bad idea. You can't, don't. What if he has one in the chamber? Right? Bad idea. What if he's on his wit's end? Bad idea. Right? All sorts of reasons this is a bad idea. I called him the B word. I called him the P word. I dropped so many F-bombs I had to take a sidetrack to Whiteman just to reload. I told him to do things that you're rarely supposed to tell people. I suggested things you're never supposed to tell people. And then I drove off. In my soul of souls, in my heart of hearts, I knew part of me had to do that. Or I couldn't have slept. Wouldn't have been able to do it. I would have been beating myself up all the livelong day. The Chiefs knew in this game, we got to do it. We got to. So here's the next thing I've got here. Sometimes pop culture references go over well. Sometimes they get me in trouble. I have 2 songs and a wrestling factoid. Nate Dogg. Put your blank on the table, my blank, let's play the game. If you're familiar with the song, you know exactly what the phrase is. It's an old pop cult, or it's an old reference. People have been saying it forever. The Chiefs had to put them on the table. The Chiefs had to play the game. Now, they lost. But we'll get back to that later. Because there is also an element of this from Drake. 0 to 100. He says, since my dad used to tell me he was coming to the house to get me, he ain't show up. Valuable lesson, man. I had to grow up. This was a grow-up moment for these Kansas City Chiefs. They had to grow up. That's why I never ask for help. It's all on you. I'll do it for you fellas, and I'll do it for myself. This, if I had to say one of the principles of masculinity, is to be so virile that I'm not going to just do my work, I'm going to do some of your work. One of the things about Drake is that he is rumored to be a ghostwriter for a lot of people. That's what he's saying here. I'm going to write my songs, and I'll write yours too, and I'll still have songs left over. The Chiefs, in this game, said, we're going to put them on the table. We're going to play cover 0. We'll do some of your work for you, because it's 4th and 3 from the 35, and we'll just go for it. We'll play with house money. Who cares? We're not afraid of you. We'll do our work, and we'll do yours too. Now, they didn't come out on top. They didn't win this game. But guys, if we go back to the world of wrestling, WCW, WWF, there is a practice called losing clean. If you're the villain and you have to turn over the belt, you got to turn it over. You can say, well, you're the good guy. I'll lose clean. I'll go down in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3. Or I'll take your submission. I'll tap out. Then there's not losing clean. You're the good guy. You got to hand over the belt. Well, I'm not going to lose clean. You're going to have to hit me with a chair. Someone's going to have to run in. Something is going to have to happen to put me at a disadvantage that the fans can then say, well, yeah, he lost. But, guys, the Chiefs did not lose clean. The Chiefs don't have 3 of their top 4 wide receivers. Mike Dana went down. Christian Fulton went down. Right? The Chiefs were not full strength. The Chiefs did not lose clean. The Eagles probably as close to full strength as they're going to get this year. If these two teams play again and Spags puts them on the table, if Rashie Rice is on that field, I like the Chiefs' odds. If Xavier Worthy is on that field, I like the Chiefs' odds. And that brings me to the next point here. I have seen a lot of finger pointing. So I don't take in a whole lot of media. And that includes other Chiefs creators. It's nothing against other Chiefs creators. I think everybody in this space does a great job at doing what it is that they do. It's just not something that I have a lot of time for. Last night, I did happen to play a couple of Chiefs creators. And a lot of finger pointing at Andy, and I get it. 4th and 3 from the 35, you're pulling that trigger. That's not an Andy decision. It's not an Andy decision. We have 25 years of Andy Reid coaching professional football. When does he do that? No, that's Patrick Mahomes saying, Coach, we got to go. We got to go, man. And they win. Lost. Okay. Seen a lot of finger pointing at Harrison Butker. It's a 59-yard kick. We are so spoiled that it has come to the point where we believe a 39-yard kick is a guarantee. Now, if he had that thing dead center, guys, he would have made that kick from Leavenworth. That thing was booming. Okay. But I get it. Kicker misses a kick, you lose by whatever points. Whatever. Okay. Seen a lot of finger pointing at Travis Kelce. I'm not going to get into Travis Kelce because that's my next point on the list. It's not Travis Kelce. You want somewhere to point the finger? If you want one place to point the finger, it's Rashie Rice. Do you think that game would have been the same outcome had Rashie Rice been on the field? Do you think the Chargers game would have been the same outcome if Rashie Rice had been on the field? I seriously doubt it. And he's not injured. He didn't drop a pass, knock a pass up into an opposing cornerback's hands. He didn't run the wrong route and Patrick Mahomes hit a cornerback dead in the chest because Rashie Rice wasn't where he was supposed to be. No, Rashie Rice is sitting at home for 6 games because he is an idiot. If you want someplace honestly to put the blame, I think you have to start with Rashie Rice. Availability is your best ability, and your best ability is sidelined because you decided that you were the cool guy in your new expensive car. Now, I don't think it's necessary that we really point the finger. If you were looking at the schedule right now to this point, if you were being fair, the Chiefs have 1 loss more than they would have. And if you were being real fair, that Chargers game was always losable. We expect them to win. We think they're going to win. We say, yeah, no, they've got this. But it was always a losable game. Here's one thing that's worth watching moving forward. The Eagles. How did the Eagles look week 1 versus the Cowboys? Oh, they should have won that game pretty handily. How did the Eagles look in week 2 versus the Chiefs? If you were an Eagles fan watching that game, how would you have felt? A lot like Chiefs fans last year. The Eagles are doing the same thing the Chiefs did last year. Their wins, they're not very pretty. Their wins, they're getting in the W column. Guys, it's not by very much. Their wins, some things we need to work on, right? Here's the question. Does that team, and maybe they do, does that team have the mental fortitude that these Kansas City Chiefs did last year to win all of those games by such low margins, by 1 possession, and get all the way to the Super Bowl? Well, here's another thing. Another funny thing. I don't think the Chiefs looked... So obviously, the Chiefs did not look this good last year versus the Eagles. I don't think the Chiefs looked as good as they've looked at times in either of these games. The Chiefs have as many losses through 2 games as they had through 17 last year. I talked about it all offseason. They can be a better team and win fewer games. It appears that is going to be the case. Now, on to the curious case of Travis Kelce and the dropsies. As hard as I went on Travis Kelce week 1 for running into Xavier Worthy, and I'm pretty sure that was his fault, probably, you expect me to come out and do the same thing here. Yes, Travis Kelce batted a pass into the air and it turned into a touchdown. Or turned a touchdown into an interception. Guys, that's Travis Kelce. It's always been Travis Kelce. It'll always be Travis Kelce. You want the good? You take the bad. That has always been Travis Kelce. Remember Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore slapping the ball around all season? What was that, 2021? You remember that? Or no, that wasn't 2021. 2023? Was it 2023? You remember that season. It was just the dropsies galore. Travis Kelce was right there. Travis Kelce has always been that guy. You just have to bake some of this into the budget. Just the truth. Now, picture of the game. Yeah, gave up a big play. But man, seeing Trent McDuffie lay the rock bottom on this play was pretty nice. I don't care. If they're going to lose, they're going to lose. This team was aggressive. This team, when they gave up plays, they did not give them up lightly. This team hit people. Oh, God. This was Brian Cook's greatest game as a pro. Brian Cook was smacking people. Time and again. Time and again. Shamari Connor didn't look bad in this game. I don't know about Jaden Hicks. I'll have to go back and look, but Omar Norman Lott, you want to talk about the rock bottom? Omar Norman Lott laid a rock bottom on Jalen Hurts that was worth the price of admission. Omar Norman Lott is going to be a factor on this defense. And another thing, so I told you I took in some Chiefs media last night. A lot of complaining about the defense and the defensive line. The Eagles have the best offensive line in football. The Chargers, not the best, probably top 10. Even without Slater, I think they're going to be a very good offensive line. You know they're going to be well coached. We will see how this defensive line looks as the season goes on, especially because 2 of their more active players right now are rookies. But golly, Omar Norman Lott looks like he's going to be a difference maker. Do I have worries about the defense? Maybe. Do you have worries about the defense after that game? I have never seen them turn around that fast. That defense is not the defense that took the field versus the Chargers. Not the same one. They were aggressive. They were fast. They made tackles. None of that happened versus the Chargers. How did it turn around that fast? We're used to seeing Andy Reid slowly mold a team over the season. We're used to seeing Spags' defenses get better as they build during the season. Brother, who cares about strategy? Play cover 0 and blitz. I heard somebody, and I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but I heard somebody say, it's just not translatable. You can't translate that to... Why not? There are defenses that live and die on cover 0 and the blitz. It looks like the Chiefs have the talent to do it. The Chiefs had the talent to do it without Mike Dana, without Christian Fulton, against the defending Super Bowl champions. The Chiefs did it against that team with Saquon Barkley, with that wide receiver core, with one of the most effective quarterbacks in the NFL. Guys, if they had not been gifted short fields, I don't think the Eagles win that game. Now, again, am I opposed to Andy going for it, 4th and 3 at the 30? No. The boys wanted it. They got their blood. They had to get that out. And so if I'm making pop culture references, do you remember The Dark Knight? There's that scene where Commissioner Gordon is on the top of the building. He's got the bat signal going. And all the other police are standing around, and he says, one of them says, "Oh, he's not coming." And another one of them says, "He doesn't want to talk to us." And I think it's Gordon who says, "Lord help whoever he does want to talk to." And it cuts scene to him hunting down Maroney in the club, right? Somebody this season is going to get it. When this team is full power on offense and they decide, yeah, we're going to play cover zero. We're going to blitz all game. And the Chiefs have Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy and Travis Kelce and Tyquan Thornton. When they have a full load, somebody's going to get it. And it's going to be cathartic for this team. This team has it. This team has it. They're just not there right now. I don't think I took a note on it, so I want to talk about it here. I was called an idiot in the comments because of Tyquan Thornton. I was called delusional when I said, hey man, this guy could be something. I was called an idiot because I kept using the phrase, he just has to have one a game. 2 games in. 2 good defenses. Guys, he's got one a game. He's on pace for like 850 yards right now. Tyquan Thornton, who spent last year on the practice squad. All he has to do is that. Now, this is 2 games where he has one with Xavier Worthy on the sideline. But do you mean to tell me he is less likely to have single coverage downfield with Xavier Worthy on the field? No. When Xavier Worthy comes back, Tyquan Thornton is only going to be single covered max. So I think that this is sustainable for Tyquan Thornton. And the last thing I want to talk about here, there was a 3rd and 10 for the Eagles where Omar Norman Lott picked up his offensive guard, one of the best offensive lines in the league, just remember that, and walked him straight back into Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, not going to get sacked, that's not Jalen Hurts, unloads it, right? Ball goes 30, 40 yards downfield. But he had to unload it early. Well, guess who was in coverage? Noel Williams was down the field, giving Adams the business. Okay, great. Couple rookies on the play. Ashton Gelati looks like the most impressive, most lively pass rusher at this point. Oh, it's another rookie. Does anyone want to argue that Josh Simmons is not the best offensive lineman the Chiefs have right now? I understand Creed Humphrey, but positional value. You could put Creed Humphrey at offensive tackle. I don't think it goes very well. You could put Josh Simmons at offensive center. I think it's going to go okay. This is a great rookie class. And we haven't seen the biggest surprise of the rookie class through the preseason, Jeffrey Bassa. I don't know if he played yesterday. I don't think he played at all in week 1. I can't remember. We haven't seen Jalen Royals, one of the most impressive rookies of training camp. We haven't seen much from Brashard Smith. So this rookie class, I really do believe, is going to be setting the groundwork for the next leg of the Chiefs dynasty. It was a loss. Sucks. But guys, I don't think it's all that terrible. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.